participation. I need you to get down in the comments and work with me. Who should not make this Team USA team? I'm gonna give you my roster that I would keep. Let me know if you agree or not.
There was no hesitation and no carefully worded diplomatic response. Just a direct, unapologetic statement about who should not make Team USA. What makes it especially compelling is the confidence behind it, because the argument that follows challenges some of the most deeply held assumptions about how USA basketball evaluates talent and builds its teams.
The GOAT, Caitlin Clark, should be the starting point guard for Team USA. Duh, the best thing that ever did it. Caitlin Clark starting at point guard. Jackie Young should be starting at shooting guard. That is what I believe it should be. That should be the starting backcourt right there. We move on to the wing position. I got Kalia Copper starting at...
Rosters are no longer just a matter of fan speculation. A legitimate debate is now taking place about whether experience should outweigh current performance. And the answer may surprise a lot of people. That proposed starting five represents a complete philosophical shift in thinking. Caitlin Clark at point guard, Jackie Young at the 2, Aya Wilson at the 3, and De'Erica Hamby at the 4.
I have Kelsey Plum coming off the bench. Obviously, Kelsey Plum should make this team. I think the backcourt is set between Caitlin Clark, Jackie Young, Paige Beckers, and Kelsey Plum. You got all you need at the guard spot. You really you really don't need no more guards after that, for real. You need wings and bigs. You don't really need no more guards after those four.
Leah Boston slots in at center. And what stands out immediately is what's missing. The traditional USA basketball formula of stacking the roster with veterans and Olympic experience. This lineup instead prioritizes current form, chemistry, and, frankly, the future of the program. That's why this goes beyond simple roster speculation. Historically, USA basketball has valued continuity. Players who have gone through Olympic cycles together, who know the system, and who have earned their roles through years of international competition. That philosophy is exactly how Chelsea Gray made the Paris Olympic roster in 2024. Even as Caitlin Clark was putting together what many argue was the most dominant rookie season in WNBA history. Leaving Clark off that team sparked massive controversy, with fans pointing out that she led the league in assists and three-point shooting, while Gray was still working her way back from injury. Now look at the proposed backcourt rotation. Caitlin Clark, Jackie Young, Paige Beckers, and Kelsey Plum. The argument for that group becomes hard to ignore when you look at the numbers. Clark averaged 19.2 points and 8.4 assists per game as a rookie and led the Fever to their first playoff appearance since 2016. Young won a championship with the Aces and earned all WNBA honors. Plum is a proven Olympic gold medalist. And Beckers, despite injuries disrupting much of her UConn career, showed in her performances just how impactful she can be at the highest level.
At the 4-5 off the bench, this might surprise some of y'all. Y'all gonna see where I'm going. I got Cameron Brink. On my team. I don't know about y'all. I got Cameron Brink coming off the bench for this team. I have Rakia Jackson coming off the bench on the wing for this team. I also have Kiki Area Finn coming off the bench as a backup big on this team. We have one spot left. Between Angel Reese.
Showed once she returned that she is still one of the most gifted scorers in women's basketball. But this is where the real tension comes in. That guard rotation leaves Chelsea Gray out entirely. A player who won Finals MVP with the Aces in 2022, has been a cornerstone of USA basketball for years, and is known for her playoff poise and clutch performances. The counter-argument, however, is difficult to ignore. Gray turns 32 in October 2024 and spent much of the season dealing with persistent foot and leg injuries, limiting both her availability and overall impact.
Just a role player, which is what she should be. She's not a star go-to player. Rebound, and that's it. That's all. Rebound and play defense. That's all you got to do. That should be your role, but your team in the WNBA sucks so bad that you're trying to do more, and it's just not you. Angel Reese makes my final 12. So who didn't make my cut? It's a lot of y'all looking like, whoa, whoa, whoa. You got that right. Chelsea Gray didn't make my team. I'm over all these old people. Look, Chelsea Gray's done her thing. She shouldn't even been in the Olympics. Caitlin Clark rookie year. Caitlin Clark should have had that spot.
During the 2024 WNBA season, Gray appeared in just 26 games, averaging 10.3 points and 4.4 assists. Solid production, but no longer the numbers of a primary lead guard. That's where the conversation becomes even more intriguing. The projected bench wing sparked some confusion at first, but the actual selections clarify the direction being taken. Sonia Citron from the Washington Mystics, Rickea Jackson, and Cameron Brink, with Kiki Iriefin slotted in as the backup big and Angel Reese taking the final roster spot. The most controversial decision by far is Cameron Brink over Brittany Griner. Griner, at 6 feet 9 inches, is a two-time Olympic gold medalist and one of the most dominant defensive forces in women's basketball history, averaging 17.8 points, 6.6 rebounds, and 1.5 blocks per game in 2024 while serving as Team USA's defensive anchor in multiple international tournaments. Brink, however, represents a different philosophy. At just 22, she embodies a future. The second overall pick in the 2024 WNBA draft, a national champion at Stanford, and a modern, versatile big who can protect the rim, switch onto guards, and stretch the floor. The obvious concern is her torn ACL in June 2024, which ended her rookie season early. That injury makes it clear this roster projection is focused less on immediate competition and more on building toward future cycles rather than the next Olympic run. Angel Reese ultimately claims a final spot, and while the reasoning may be delivered bluntly, it's rooted in her production and impact, as she averaged 13.6 points per game and consistently imposed her presence on both ends of the floor.
We got 4 of the top guards in the league. Every guard I named, in my opinion, is better than Chelsea Gray. Caitlin Clark is better than Chelsea Gray. Paige Beckers is better than Chelsea Gray. Jackie Young is better than Chelsea Gray. Kelsey Plum is better than Chelsea Gray. We don't need Chelsea Gray on this team. No disrespect. You did your thing. You've had your fair share of Olympic runs. It's time for the new generation. Time for us to move on. Brittany Griner did not make this team. Brittany Griner, now you can always use that 6'9" size. I thought
she averaged 13.6 points and 13.1 rebounds per game as a rookie with the Chicago Sky, setting a WNBA record with 15 consecutive double-doubles. Angel Reese is an elite rebounder who brings constant defensive intensity, but the analysis is fair in recognizing that her role should be defined and limited. She isn't a go-to scorer or an offensive engine. Her value comes from rebounding, physical defense, and doing the gritty work that doesn't always show up in highlights. The Skies struggled throughout the 2024 season, finishing 13-27 and missing playoffs. And when Reese attempted to expand her offensive responsibilities beyond rebounding and interior play, her efficiency declined, reflected in her 39.1% shooting from the field.
We got Hamby, we got Angel Reese, we got we got Kiki, we got some bigs, we got some size, we good. And Veronica Burton didn't make this team. No, love Veronica Burton. Love her as a player, but this team is already stacked with guards. So Veronica Burton did not make the cut for my final roster. So I'm going to read you the final roster again. Caitlin Clark on this Team USA team. Get down in the comments. Let me know what you think. Who's on your team? Who would you take off of my list? I think I know who a lot of y'all say. Get down in the comments. Let me know. Let's keep
the argument also reframes how Caitlin Clark was treated, suggesting that USA basketball effectively punished her for being a rookie, even though she was clearly one of the most impactful players in the league. Her efficiency dipped at times because her usage rate was far higher than it should have been given her skill set and the lack of spacing around her. On Team USA, surrounded by elite scorers and playmakers, she wouldn't need to overextend herself. She could focus on playmaking, spacing the floor, and competing defensively, which actually makes her fit even cleaner. The same logic applies to Angel Reese. On a stack roster, she wouldn't be asked to create offense. Her job would simply be to rebound, defend, and bring physicality, which is the perfect role for her skill set. That leads directly into who is left off this projected roster and why it matters. Chelsea Gray, Brittany Griner, and Veronica Burton are all excluded, with the explanation framed as a necessary generational shift, moving on from established veterans to build around the next wave of stars. This is where the debate becomes complicated, because USA basketball has never traditionally operated this way. Historically, the program has prioritized institutional knowledge and international experience. FIBA basketball is different from the WNBA. The three-point line is shorter, the lane is wider, the game is more physical, and officiating allows more contact. Veterans who have played in multiple Olympics and World Cups understand those adjustments instinctively. That's why Sue Bird played until age 41, winning her 5th Olympic gold medal in Tokyo at 40, and why Diana Taurasi made the Paris Olympic roster at 42, becoming the oldest player in Olympic basketball history. USA basketball has trusted veterans because they consistently deliver in high-pressure international games. However, a counterargument is gaining momentum. The gap between the United States and the rest of the world is shrinking. Team USA won gold in Paris, but several games were far closer than expected. Australia pushed them. France held leads, and the days of winning every game by 30 points are clearly over. That reality raises a new question. Should USA basketball now prioritize athleticism, shooting, and players dominating the WNBA right now rather than relying on players whose peak performances came 5 years ago? When you look at the projected Final 12, Caitlin Clark, Jackie Young, Kalia Copper, De'Arica Hamby, Aaliyah Boston, Paige Buchers, Kelsey Plum, Sonia Citron, Cameron Brink, Angel Reese, Rickea Jackson, and Kiki Iriafen, the message becomes clear. The average age of this roster would land in the mid-20s, significantly younger than a typical USA basketball team. The Paris Olympic roster averaged around 30 years old. This would represent a fundamental reset, essentially signaling that the Olympic cycle spanning Tokyo and Paris is over, and that the program is now building toward Los Angeles 2028 and beyond. The positional balance is revealing as well. For pure guards may seem excessive until you consider that international basketball is increasingly perimeter-driven. FIBA games are often decided by guard play, ball pressure, and three-point shooting rather than traditional post dominance. Having 4 elite guards who can shoot, pass, and handle pressure makes strategic sense. The front court, meanwhile, is more experimental. Hamby, Boston, Brink, Reese, and Iriafen provide size and versatility, but not much traditional back-to-the-basket scoring. This roster would play fast, shoot from deep, switch defensively, and rely on athleticism instead of grinding possessions in the paint. It's a modern approach that mirrors how the global game is evolving. At its core, this debate isn't really about 12 roster spots for a single tournament. It's about the future identity of USA basketball and whether the organization is willing to make difficult decisions that prioritize current performance and upside over legacy. Chelsea Gray embodies that tension perfectly. She's a champion, a finals MVP, and an Olympic gold medalist who earned her reputation through years of elite play. But in 2024, she simply wasn't a top-tier WNBA guard anymore. Injuries and age have taken their toll. The question becomes whether you reward past accomplishments and hope for a resurgence, or select players who are performing at a higher level right now. The same dilemma applies to Brittany Griner. She remains productive and is still one of the best shot blockers in the world. But at 33, her mobility is no longer what it was 5 years ago. Cameron Brink, if healthy, may not yet match Griner's defensive dominance, but she offers greater versatility and long-term upside. That contrast highlights the central question USA basketball must answer. Is a priority proven championship pedigree or future potential? Historically, the program has leaned heavily toward veterans. That's why the Paris roster included Diana Taurasi, who played limited minutes but was valued for leadership and experience, and why players like Breanna Stewart and Alyssa Thomas were automatic selections despite injury concerns. Continuity and trust have always mattered, but the Caitlin Clark decision changed the conversation entirely. Leaving the most popular player in women's basketball off the Olympic roster sparked massive backlash. Fever games featuring Clark regularly drew over 1 million viewers in 2024, with some broadcasts peaking at 2.3 million on major networks like ABC. Olympic basketball viewership was strong, but not dramatically higher than WNBA regular season games starring Clark. The optics were damaging, and they forced USA Basketball to confront a new reality, one where performance, popularity, and the future of the game are all colliding in ways the organization can no longer ignore.